Welcome to Columbus, first of all.
Thank you.
Uh, let's go back and figure out your path here. Why you ultimately decided to leave Oklahoma, and why you selected Ohio State. You could have gone anywhere. Why did you want to be a Buckeye?
I just fell in love with the culture here. I mean, it's a great coaching staff, and I mean, just great players here that I've known throughout the recruiting world, and I mean, I just felt like it would be the best opportunity for me.
Trey, you were coming off a knee injury and some uncertainty at Oklahoma. Walk us through where you are now from a health standpoint, and also where you feel from a competitive standpoint. You're in a room with a lot of really good players. Your personal health and the health of the competition in that room.
Mm-hmm. Coming off a knee injury, I mean, it was pretty tough, but I mean, I've managed to, throughout like quarantine and everything, just managed to, I mean, just get back to 100%. And I mean, that's where I am now. I mean, this is the best I ever felt, I mean, my entire career. And I mean, just to be in the room with like guys like Master, Steele, Xavier, just all great guys. And I mean, we come in and we compete every day.
Next up, Bill Landis with The Athletic, and Dan Hope on deck. Bill?
Hey, Trey. Coach Alford was talking about, one of the things he wanted to work on with you was running behind your pads a little more, maybe running a little lower since you're such a taller guy compared to most other running backs. Just how's that going for you? I'm sure that's something you've worked on in the past, but working with Coach Alford here for the last few weeks, how's that been going for you?
It's been going pretty good. I mean, especially since we've been able to put back on pads and everything. So, I mean, that's kind of been more the focus point. I feel like so far, like I said, I mean, it's been going pretty good. I mean, I am a taller running back, and I mean, I kind of already knew that. So it's like throughout my career, I mean, I've always tried to just lower my pad level upon contact and everything. And I mean, I feel like I'm definitely getting better at it.
And when you were sort of going through the transfer process, what about this offense was appealing to you? Why do you think your skill set would work well with what they do here?
Really just how they use their running backs. I mean, the system is kind of sort of the same as Oklahoma. I mean, they throw the ball a lot to the running backs. They have a great run scheme, and I just felt like it would be the best fit for me.
Thanks.
Next up, Dan Hope with 11 Warriors and Tony Girdman on deck. Dan?
Hey, Trey, obviously you transferred here with visions of playing. So what was it like this summer with all the uncertainty over whether you guys would actually get to play this fall?
It was really tough. I mean, my mindset at the time was, I mean, I just have to focus on just getting better. I mean, I have to stay ready because once the opportunity does come and they say we get to play, I don't want to be behind. So, I mean, it was pretty tough just to continue with that mindset. But, I mean, I managed to do good.
Has it been weird watching your old teammates at Oklahoma already play a few games while you guys haven't got to play yet?
Yes, it was definitely a little weird feeling just us being postponed. But, I mean, just watching those guys, it's still exciting that football is back. So, I mean, I've enjoyed watching them.
Thanks, Trey.
Next up, Tony Girdman with Buckeye Scoop and Tim May on deck. Tony?
Hey, how difficult was that last year for you when you were, I guess, healthy and still not maybe getting the ball much? I think Texas, no touches. How difficult was that for you last year, especially as a freshman when, you had the ball so much, sophomore you had the ball, and then you dealt with what you dealt with last year?
It was pretty tough, but, I mean, my mindset was whenever I get the chance, I'm going to make the most of it. And, I mean, that's what I just continue to do. I mean, up until this point, my mindset is just to take advantage of every opportunity. And it's something that I learned from that experience.
Thanks.
Next up, Tim May with the Tim May Podcast, Letterman Row, and Patrick Murphy on deck. Tim?
Trey, I was just wondering, what has been your impression since you've been around him now for a while of Justin Fields and what he brings to the position of quarterback and also the position of leadership of this football team?
He's a phenomenal guy. I mean, everybody respects him. Everybody loves to play with him. And me personally, I've known Justin for, quite some time. I mean, I played against him in high school. We trained together. We had the same trainer since high school as well. So actually being on the same team with him, it's a bit different experience. But I mean, I've enjoyed everything. Just how he just commands the offense, and his leadership is just great.
You know, and you personally, what is it like to go from an Oklahoma to an Ohio State? You know, few people get that chance in their life to go from one college football playoff contender possibly to another. Were you surprised that there sort of was an opening at Ohio State where you could take advantage of that? And just sort of what's how have you, you know, have you sat back and thought about that, of sort of like, I don't know, lucky is not the right word maybe, but how fortunate you are?
I definitely realized how fortunate I was. I mean, this is a big-time program, and I mean, there's always great running backs. I mean, coming through here. I mean, such as J.K. and Zeke. So I mean, it was a good opportunity once I found out that, I mean, there was an opening here, and I mean, I just wanted to take advantage of it and be a part of this team.
And one other quickie, what is the biggest difference between the Oklahoma program and Ohio State so far that you've noticed? What is something you can put your finger on?
I'm not really sure. I mean, they're both great programs. I mean, there's not really many differences. I mean, the coaching staff is great. Both teams play at a high level. I mean, like I said, they're both top tier programs. So I mean, there's not really too many differences.
Thanks, man.
Next up, Patrick Murphy with 24/7 Sports and Stephen Means on deck. Patrick?
Hey, Trey, how you doing?
Good.
Not many guys have worked with Lincoln Riley and Ryan Day, but those two are similarly compared in terms of how they've come up, being younger head coaches. I'm curious your perspective on those two, given that now you've had to work under both of them.
They're both great guys. I mean, they're very intelligent. I mean, they're great at what they do. I mean, they're great at calling plays and just getting the right people in the right system. And I mean, just being able to experience both. I mean, I'm definitely grateful for it.
And I know you guys haven't played a game yet, but you've practiced at Ohio Stadium a couple times. When you stepped out there the first time, did you go back to a few years ago when you're scoring that first touchdown as a Sooner?
I definitely did. Had a bit flashback. I mean, it was just a great experience. And now that I'm a part of this team, I mean, I'm just excited.
Thanks, man.
Next up, Stephen Means with Cleveland. Oh, Mike, do Stephen. I just lost my power. Yep.
All right, Stephen Means, Cleveland.com. You're up.
Hey, Trey. Your quarterback situation has been Heisman Trophy winner, number one pick, Heisman Trophy winner, number one pick, Heisman Trophy finalist, and now potential Heisman Trophy winner, number one pick. I mean, just kind of break down, like, having that type of – those are the type of quarterbacks you've played with, and just kind of compare them all. And, you know, where does Justin kind of fit in that line of what Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, and Justin Hurts were? Jalen, yeah.
Well, I mean, for one, they're all great quarterbacks, and I mean, they were all very dynamic. And I would kind of say Justin is more similar to Kyler as far as being dynamic. I mean, he has great running ability as well, and I mean, just they all have great leadership, and that's just another thing that I see in Justin that I saw in those guys. I mean, they just take the field. They're confident in what they do, and then I mean, they do a great job of just taking charge of the team.
And all those guys have a different amount of, you know, running ability, and where Justin kind of falls into that. And but also, how does that help you as a running back when your quarterback can run like that?
It helps me out a lot. I mean, they have to respect the quarterback as a run threat as well, and I mean that takes the pressure off of me. So, I mean, it's a great feeling just to know that, I mean, I have a quarterback who can take it 50 yards and go score. I mean, he's just as fast. He's big and strong as well. So, I mean, it's a sort of a relief, but I mean, it's a good feeling.
All right, and our last questioner of the day will be Jeremy Birmingham from Letterman Row. Jeremy.
Hey, Trey. Thanks for taking time today. Hey, how unique is the relationship that you and Tony Alford have to get you to this point where you were obviously heavily recruited by Ohio State in high school, chose to go to Oklahoma, and then come back to Ohio State at the end of your college career? Is that relationship that unique? And if so, what made it so different?
We just established a great relationship as soon as he started recruiting me out of high school. And I mean, although I went to Oklahoma and I had my years there, I remember after we played him, I mean, we talked a little bit after the game, and he was just checking on to see how I was doing. So it's like now, once we got to this point, it's kind of just we picked up where we left off, and it was just unique because, I mean, Coach Alfred's such a genuine guy, and I mean, all the players he comes in contact with, he really cares about them, and I feel like that was just the thing that stuck out the most.
Is that something that you can pinpoint as being unique with him, or is there other coaches that recruited you throughout high school that you still talk to? And you know, you mentioned the coaching staff in general at Ohio State. I'm curious if you've seen that sort of attitude permeate through the entire staff.
I definitely feel like that's what's unique with him. I mean, there's many coaches that still keep a good relationship with players, even though they go to different schools and everything. But I feel like with him specifically, that's what was really unique the most. Because, I mean, you just don't find that too often.
And, I mean, how was it the way that relationship developed over the last few years? I mean, was it just like a phone call every couple months? I mean, how often did you guys stay in touch? And who was generally leading that? Was it you or him?
We didn't really stay in touch too often just because, I mean, we were both so busy. I mean, he had to coach the guys here, and I mean, I was just trying to find my way through college, just get everything established. But I mean, once we did every so much, it was really just me just checking in and just communicating with him.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Trey, thank you very, very much. Hope you